Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Nathra, and welcome to the first Second Gen Saturday. This is a new series that I've been wanting to do in order to upload more consistently and also just talk about Second Gen K-pop because that is kind of my favorite generation. I became a K-pop fan in 2012, and so I consider Second Gen to be from around 2007 to 2012, with third generation from 2013 to 2017, and generation 3.5/4 starting in 2018. This is kind of just my personal timeline, so feel free to agree or disagree. Anywho, the first group that I wanted to dedicate this Saturday to is Myname. If the majority of y'all watching are 4th or even 3rd gen stans, there's a good chance you've never heard of them, and that is understandable as the once successful group has faded out in Korea but still remains a household name in Japan a decade in the making. But wait, we're getting ahead of ourselves. Let's learn some more about the group's origins. But before we get started, make sure to like this video and subscribe for more 2nd Gen Saturdays. Myname is a 5-member boy group that debuted in 2011 under H2 Media. H2 Media is a company founded by Hwanhee, who is half of the 1st gen duo Fly to the Sky. Myname was the first, and I think we can firmly say now, last group under the label. Some of the members were already interested in having a music career. Member Taeyong trained at JYP while he was in middle school back in 2007, but moved to H2 in 2010 while also pursuing an acting career. Insu was a dance major in school and auditioned for Superstar K in 2010. Ganu was the first to join H2 after deciding to be a singer while studying sports in college and thus moved to Seoul. Junkyu was actually Hwanhee's backup dancer in middle school, which explains why he was scouted, and not really much information on Chaejin aside from the fact that he was the last to join the lineup. Myname was officially introduced to the public via the SBS reality TV show Ta-da! It's Myname, all episodes of which can be found on YouTube. The 8 episodes established the dynamic between the members, their lives outside of practice, and just more information about each of the guys. I skipped around while doing research for this video, and honestly, it was a pretty neat show, albeit a bit boring. It is really interesting to me how the members managed to juggle high school or college with the difficult lifestyle of being a trainee. Granted, this was filmed in 2011, so a lot has changed in a decade, but I wish that more groups did shows like this as a way for the general public to learn more about them. On October 28, 2011, Myname made their debut with the song Message. The music video has 4.8 million views, which for a song released a decade ago on like a relatively new platform like YouTube is very impressive. Not much else to say besides the usual: copious eyeliner, a lot of auto-tune, and classic 2010s boy group dance moves. Also, what is up with the color grading on this music video? It makes it look like you're watching on the lowest possible brightness setting. Something interesting I found was an article from around this time that mentioned their already booming popularity in Japan. Oricon Style magazine covered the group in November, claiming that while the group had Korean fans, Japanese fans were looking forward to seeing them perform live soon. Their next comeback was in June of 2012 with the title track Hello and Goodbye, and oh my god, there's a lot of blood in this music video! It's a sad song about lost love or whatever, again, a pretty standard theme of early 2010s K-pop. But halfway through the music video, the storyline really kicks in, or should I say stabs in? I would recommend that you give it a watch to see it for yourself. Myname, along with other up-and-coming groups at the time like B2B and VIX, then starred in a reality show called Diary on SBS MTV. There are like 50 plus episodes, again all on YouTube, but I don't really want to watch them all. The gist is, again, just giving these groups some cameras and telling them to vlog their lives. In July, Myname got into a minor car accident, but luckily nobody was hurt, and a week later made their Japanese debut with the Japanese version of their debut song, Message. I said Japanese and debut too many times in that sentence. This song did extremely well, charting number 9 on the Oricon Daily Chart and number 1 in Tokyo Shibuya Tower record sales. After their popularity in Japan became quite evident, they were signed on to be models for first male Japanese swimwear brand Sanai. A few months later in November, Myname released another Japanese song called What's Up, and 1,500 fans showed up for that showcase. Side note, listening to What's Up at 1.25 speed is legitimately a better experience than at normal speed. Anyways, at this point in time, we can see that the group pivoted towards a Japan-first model, which we'll also see in a few more groups I plan on covering like DGNA. What this means is that the production of Japanese songs and increase in promotions in Japan grew at a faster rate compared to domestic activities back in South Korea in order to keep up with the growing popularity in Japan. The group held their first ever concert in Japan, attracting about 5,000 fans across 2 days. This is kinda insane because the group only had a few songs under their belt, which begs the question, what exactly do they perform? If anyone has any idea, please let me know in the comments. The new year brought along a new reality show, although this was not aimed towards the Korean market. Myname W Kitchen, hosted by member Insu and AKB48's Nagao Maria, was a team-style competition in order to showcase Korean food to the Japanese viewers. I tried looking for episodes online, but most of them were hidden due to copyright, so all I had to go off of was this trailer posted to allkpop.com. Later on in January, the group made their Korean comeback with the track Just That Little Thing. Interestingly enough, this song was supposed to have been released in October of 2012, but if you recall, the group had a Japanese comeback in November instead, which leads me to believe that after H2 saw the success of their Japanese debut, they kinda swapped things around and delayed their Korean comeback. Something I wanted to mention was what was written in the description box of the song. Quote, "The funny title, Just That Little Thing, of Myname seems a little bit weird, but it will be an album that will lure the listeners with its addictiveness." And you know what? This song is actually really good. I'm only familiar with their 2014 releases, so when I listened to this for the first time while researching, I was pleasantly surprised. Again, very nostalgia-inducing with the styling and choreography. In March, the group held their first Korean concert 2 years after debut, and at this point, their popularity in Korea was catching up to their popularity in Japan. I couldn't find any actual numbers about their ticket sales, but the venue they were performing at could hold around 2,500 people. In fact, in my journey to find any numbers for how many people came to their Korean concert, I stumbled upon these eBay listings, so if any My Girl, which is their fandom name, wants to buy some old memorabilia, then knock yourself out. Later that month, Myname released their first Japanese album and then held a multi-city tour in May. The album charted crazy high on various Japanese music charts, showing their popularity. In July, Myname released their first Korean mini-album with the title track, Baby I'm Sorry. This music video is age-restricted and also quite long as it centers around gang violence. Kind of a downer, I know. There is also a short film around 35 minutes long, but I couldn't find one with subtitles, so I found an explanation video to get for context, and oh my gosh, was it surreal. Long overdrawn explanation ahead. Basically, one of the members gets beat up, and his friends are like, "Oh my god, who did this to you?" And he points in his bully's directions. So naturally, the beat up kid's friends go and beat up the bullies. And then there's a scene where Ganu, who is the main character in this movie, wants to go play poker or cards or something, but then he isn't allowed in, so he beats the shit out of the people who weren't letting him in, and impresses the gang who controls the club. I don't know, man. And then the gang leader is like, "Hey, do you want to join our gang?" And so Ganu joins the gang, and all his friends are like, "Whoa, look at all his money and cars and shit. We should also join a gang." But Ganu's like, "No, you guys aren't cut out for this job." But then Seong joins a rival gang, so there's more tension. The gang leaders want to join forces, but at the cost of killing Ganu and Seong. So Seong gets stabbed in the chest, and as I'm not laughing at his death, I'm laughing at this giant paragraph I have to read. Okay, where was I? So Seong gets stabbed in the chest, and as they're dragging his carcass out, Ganu catches a glimpse of Seong's watch, and he's like, "Oh my god, he's dead because of me, he wanted to be a gangster because of me, this is all my fault." So Ganu goes and beats up the gang leaders, and as his friends come to support him, Ganu gets shot in front of them. They go batshit and try to fight the other gang members, but then they killed in the process, so all their bodies get cremated, along with the photo of the 5 of them at the beach. Dude, you couldn't even pay me to tell you what the song sounded like because I was just trying to absorb what the hell I was watching. When I went back to listen to it, the lyrics are very sad, especially when you pair them with the visuals of the music video, so not really something I would recommend. Anywho, the mini album was actually in really high demand, selling out of the first 20,000 copies, and then also the reprint of the next 20,000 copies. They also ranked 5th on Music Bank with this track, which was their highest position ever. You know, something I miss about second-gen K-pop is kind of like the story aspect. While now there are theories that fans of newer groups try to piece together every comeback, back in the day groups like Myname, Tierra, BAP would have really high budget and high production pseudo-films to promote their music. There's less lore with second gen groups because like one day you would have a really sad music video and the next one would just be like trying to chase a girl. So I kind of appreciate that because oftentimes with like new groups, the theories and the stories can get a little overwhelming. Myname did go on to release an actual feature-length Japanese film titled Shinokubo Story. The movie is available in parts on Dailymotion, but due to time I found this synopsis instead. A few days later, the group released their third single album, Shirayuki, which again charted really well and sold a ton of copies. One of the B-sides was even used as opening and closing themes for a Japanese baseball tournament live broadcast. Random fun fact, in October, soloist Gina and Myname were chosen as judges for the K-pop festival in Kazakhstan, so that's pretty cool, I guess. Myname kicked off the year with 2 Japanese concerts with a combined attendance of 8,000 and followed that up with a brand new Japanese album in February. FFY, which stands for Fight For You, is a funky piano R&B track, and one of the members has cornrows because of course he does. We love that. Just kidding, I don't condone that. Again, in May, Myname toured various cities in Japan before briefly returning to Korea to participate in Idol Dance Competition D-Style, which was, as you may have guessed, an idol dance competition. Seong took the #1 male idol spot, actually. Again, in September, the group went back to Japan for more touring until the end of the month. So to recap, all of 2014 was dedicated to Japanese promotions, save for the one Korean variety show appearance. This year started off like any other, touring in Japan. Upon return to Korea in February, the group finally made a Korean comeback after a year and 4 months with the mini album, Too Very So Much. Okay, so this is when I got introduced to Myname through, Pandora.com. Let me just play a snippet of this song so that you can hear what I hear. It's so catchy. The music video also marks a shift in concept, as it's Myname's first venture into the whole group of boys following a girl around who couldn't be bothered. That trope that we all know and love. Overall, a very cute music video, and this song never gets old. As we will see very soon, Myname's next Korean comeback does a whole 180 degrees. But before that, they made yet another Japanese comeback which sold almost 35,000 units in the first 24 hours. Then, in May, we were graced with the most scandalous music video a 13-year-old Nathra had ever seen up until that point in time. Just Tell Me.
Let's talk about this.
There are a lot of boobs and ass and women in cages for some reason. Also, who gave Seong a bowl cut? Why does he look like that? Anyways, the song is actually really good, and I listened to this way more than I should admit. It seems like at this point in time they were going for more of a risque image in Korea, but still doing the boyfriend POVs over in Japan. Speaking of which, in July, Myname released their 4th Japanese single album, Hello Again, which is, like I mentioned before, a boyfriend POV. This song was their second to chart at #1 on the Oricon Daily Chart, selling 30,000 copies. In November, Myname released a Japanese Best Hits compilation CD and did a nationwide tour to promote the album. I gotta say, being a Japanese my girl must have been great because of how active they were, not only releasing music but also doing multiple tours a year. Can't relate. In March and April, Myname went on a 13-city tour in Japan. However, things were looking up for my girls in Europe as the group performed in various countries like Germany, Poland, Spain, etc. over 10 days in September. This year, however, was another one that neglected domestic activities, as the only music released came in the form of their 4th Japanese album. This album, although it charted high, peaked at #7 on the Oricon Daily Charts. So while Myname was still very popular, their decline in popularity was coming, and it was coming soon. Seong became the Red Power Ranger in the Power Rangers Dino sequel thing, which aired in April. And then in July, Myname released an album. Quick, guess if it was Korean or Japanese? It was Japanese! This album sold just under 20,000 copies, and during promotions, Insu announced his impending military enlistment. However, before his enlistment, he released his first solo Japanese album called Naked Love. Gee, I wonder what that could possibly refer to. Anyways, it sold about 3,300 copies, but slipped on the Oricon charts. Later on in the fall, the remaining members all participated in the unit, the famous idol rebooting program that was also a flop. Let me know if you'd like a video on the fates of the groups that came from that competition in the comments below, because I have a lot to say about that show. Anywho, none of the members qualified for the final lineup, so that was kind of a bust. In general, 2017 was kind of meh, but 2018 was even more meh. In July 2018, the 4 members released their sixth Japanese album, Kisei. This album charted at number 3 but failed to pass 11,000 copies sold. Something kind of whack that happened this year was member Chaejin getting embroiled in a spicy controversy. Chaejin was being accused of dating Urban Zakapa member Jo Hyuna, who happened to be a mentor on the unit, after a private video of the two was leaked. Now, this isn't a private video in the usual sense, but rather the two of them at like a friend's party, and even though she had his legs wrapped around him and he was on top of her, they were just friends, or so the agency statement claimed. On December 4th, 2019, all members' contracts expired, and so they left H2. Initially, H2 said the group disbanded, but then backtracked, saying they didn't disband after all. Throughout the past few years, all the members have quietly enlisted or gone into acting instead. I don't think they have any intentions of making music together, but it seems like all members are still friendly, and who knows, maybe we'll get a reunion someday. Myname has some really good songs that I think are pretty timeless, and if you're craving nostalgic K-pop, then definitely check them out. They weren't very diverse in concepts, but the hold that they had on the Japanese public still lasted for just about 10 years, which is a feat in and of itself. Alrighty, that's all the time I have for today. Thank you all for tuning in to the first Second Gen Saturday, and let me know if you have any groups you'd like me to cover in future episodes down in the comments. You can follow my social medias for any hints or clues about who I'm going to talk about next, and hopefully I will see you in the next video. Bye!